Now, before I start, I want to make clear that this is my opinion. Feel free to have your own opinions and fight me in the comments, but this is my opinion, and I don't plan to change it. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into it. I'm GojiMan34, and this is my vision for the final movie of the Monsterverse. Just want to make clear before I start that this is all as of the events of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. We obviously don't know what's happening next, so this is all going to be based on the latest movie. Cool. So the opening scene starts in Tokyo Bay. Some of you might already know where this is going. Oxygen Destroyer. A small crustacean colony moves into the area where the Oxygen Destroyer still lays. They come close, and they trigger a backup mechanism that redetonates the bomb, and they mutate. Those of you who know anything about the Heisei era know where this is going. Those of you who don't, keep watching. Godzilla wakes up in the Coliseum. Something is wrong. He gets up and swims into the ocean. The camera cuts to the Hollow Earth. Gia rushes towards Kong after he had just come back from a successful hunt. He takes the spine prowler he found and crushes its skull, ripping it off. Gia quickly greets him in ASL, and Kong responds. The ground starts to tremble with a distant boom through the Hollow Earth. Gia makes her way back to Dr. Andrews, and they get in the heave. Luckily, they made it in time. Kong grabs his axe and prepares for whatever's out there. The next scene takes place in the Hollow Earth entry portal in Antarctica. Godzilla rushes to the portal, not wasting any time. The Monarch researchers there try to stop him, but it's too late. He jumps into the portal and makes his way to the Hollow Earth. He dashes through the Hollow Earth, not stopping for anything. When he finally makes it to the Kong lair, he slams through the walls, landing in the center. The other Kongs stare at him, confused why he's down here. Shima watches from afar, knowing best not to meddle with the king. Kong walks out and looks down to see Godzilla. Godzilla starts to walk towards Kong, and the other Kongs decide they're going to protect their king and attack Godzilla. Trapper, Dr. Eileen Andrews, and Gia are just left in shock as Godzilla effortlessly throws these smaller Kongs around. Godzilla uses an immensely powerful nuclear pulse to throw all of them off his back. They're all laying on the ground, groaning in pain. Godzilla huffs towards Kong, signaling that this is not what he came here to do. It then cuts to the Empire State Building. The security guard is patrolling around when a small crustacean, now some of you know where this is going, attacks him and kills him. This is where we introduce Destroyer into the Monsterverse. The camera cuts back to the Hollow Earth. Kong and Godzilla are standing right in front of each other. It looks like they're about to fight, when, just at the last moment, Mothra swoops down out of nowhere. Mothra lands on Godzilla's shoulder, and Godzilla shares what his vision gave him. She flies over to Gia, Dr. Eileen Andrews, and Trapper, and telepathically tells Gia what happened. Mothra tells Gia that there's a prophecy created by her tribe that they must find, and it could help them save the world. Our humans get into the heave and start to fly to the Iwi tribe. But midway through the flight there, they get attacked by a group of warbats. The warbats dart and dash around, doing their best to try and destroy the heave. But the heave is very agile, and they avoid it. Just as one of the warbats is about to clamp its jaws around the heave, Godzilla grabs the warbat and slams it onto the ground. He kills all 4 of them effortlessly. Back on the surface, Madison Russell, who is now a very high-ranking member in Monarch, is trying to get as much information as she can about the new Titan Destroyer. Similar attacks to what happened in the Empire State Building are happening all around the world. Thailand, New Zealand, Toronto, New Delhi. It's getting out of hand. As the humans in the Hollow Earth near the Iwi Temple, the membrane outside opens to allow Mothra and Godzilla to walk through, and the Heave follows behind them. They gently land the Heave and enter the Iwi Temple. They approach the Iwi Queen and bow their heads slightly. They ask for help with some prophecy, and the Iwi Queen takes them to a room full of lots of different drawings on the walls. Dr. Andrews translates them as so. On the night of a blood-stained moon, a titan of ultimate darkness will rise to challenge the Alpha Titan, plunging the world into eternal darkness. They call him Destroyer. Back on the surface, Dr. Andrews is now talking to Madison Russell over the call, and they're discussing how Destroyer is going to rise during the next lunar eclipse. Just as the call is about to end, Destroyer in his flying form swoops down into the facility and destroys everything. Madison merrily escapes with her life. Godzilla collapses, feeling the sudden pain the Earth is feeling. Mothra stands by his side as Kong and Shimo run into the Iwi Temple area. Mothra, Kong, and Shimo leave Godzilla in the Hollow Earth and fly through a portal, sending them to Tokyo, Japan. Yes, I'm ending this in Tokyo. Deal with it. Soon, a lot of other titans arrive too. Behemoth, Methuselah. Even Lehamu comes to help. And the last to come is Rodan. Mothra stares at him for a few seconds before turning her head. She still doesn't trust him, but I guess she'll have to deal with it for now. They watch the moon as it turns red, and the second it turns into a full eclipse, something massive flies in front of it. It's Destroyer in his true perfect form. He lands on the ground and stares at all the titans. He laughs to himself, thinking that there's no way they could win against him. All the titans charge at him. Godzilla is still in the Hollow Earth, and he can feel the pain they're going through, but he can't get up, not yet. Destroyer overpowers all of them easily, throwing them all to the side. He then focuses his attention on Kong. He gets overpowered by Destroyer and thrown to the ground. The battlefield is in ruins. Titans lay scattered, battered, and beaten. Destroyer stands among them, unchallenged, his demonic form towering over the fallen. Kong, broken and exhausted, struggles to his feet. But even he knows this fight is lost. Then a deafening cry shatters the silence. Shimo, still standing despite her wounds, lunges at Destroyer with all she has left. Ice crackles across her body, her breath forming a final frost-covered attack. But she knows this will be her last move. She doesn't care. Destroyer with his micro-oxygen beam tearing through Shimo's body. The Ice Titan lets out a piercing wail before collapsing. Kong watches in horror. The silence falls. Mothra swoops down, her wings shimmering with golden light. She lands beside Shimo, pressing her glowing limbs against the fallen titan, trying to desperately heal her, but it's too late. For the first time in centuries, Mothra has failed. Then the ground trembles. Emerging from the depths of the Hollow Earth, Godzilla rises. He sees Shimo, his oldest ally, laying dead before him. The king of the monsters stops. His breathing slows. His dorsal plates dim. Shock sets in. And then he roars. It's unlike anything before, a sound so powerful, so filled with rage and sorrow, that the earth itself quakes. Bloodlust takes over him. His blue glow intensifies as he charges straight at Destroyer. The battle for vengeance is beginning. The battlefield becomes a storm of destruction. Godzilla and Destroyer clash with unimaginable force, sending shockwaves across the land. Their beams collide, atomic blue shearing the crimson, battling for dominance. The very air ignites. Godzilla fights harder than ever, driven by grief, rage, and a need to end this. But even in his bloodlust, Destroyer overpowers him. The demon titan slashes, tears, and brutalizes him. Godzilla collapses. For a moment, it seems like the war is over. And then, something clicks. Something lost to time, buried within the ancient instincts of his species. His heart burns. His veins ignite. His blue glow shifts to a fiery crimson. The spiral heat ray has been reborn. Destroyer turns away, intent on killing Mothra. But the second he does, Godzilla's rage intensifies into something primal. His eyes blaze red. His plates burn with energy. And then, he lunges. He clamps Destroyer's head in his jaws, forcing them open. And just like the Muto before, Godzilla unleashes its atomic breath straight down Destroyer's throat. The shearing explosion erupts from within, obliterating Destroyer from the inside out. His body writhes in agony before he detonates in a final cataclysmic blast. Silence. Still growing red, Godzilla stumbles. His body, overwhelmed with energy, begins to lose control. He fires his atomic breath into the sky, releasing everything he has left. The shockwave spreads across the battlefield, revitalizing the fallen titans. But they're not just healed, they're stronger. Rejuvenated by Godzilla's unleashed energy, every titan rises, more powerful than ever. Even Kong, still bruised, feels an unfamiliar strength. And then they bow. All of them. For the first time, Kong bows too. But just as he lowers his head, Godzilla growls. He doesn't accept it. He orders Kong to stand. Kong doesn't move. He remains kneeling, his face shadowed. His roar rumbles against the earth, but it's aimed downward. He submits. But he will not look at the one he submits to. Godzilla growls again, this time louder. The earth shakes. Kong does not rise. And then, Godzilla lets loose a full alpha roar, a command. Kong roars back, his face still down, but his challenge clear. The other titans tense. The battle is not over. The air becomes thick with possibility of another war. And then, finally, Kong stands. The two kings stare at each other. The world waits. Kong lets out a deep exhale, stepping to stand beside Godzilla. He does not bow. He accepts. He lets out a small chuckle to himself, shaking his head. Godzilla watches this. And then, something that no titan, has ever seen. Godzilla smiles. Not a snarl, not a grimace. A true, genuine smile. The titans are shocked. Even Kong, despite his usual defiance, is stunned. Mothra, perched above, sees something different. She had dreamed of this moment for so long, for so many centuries of war, loss, and sacrifice. After watching him bear the weight of his dead species, her king had smiled. But after the victory, though hard-earned, brings little comfort. The Titan's attention turns to the fallen Shimo, still laying motionless in the center of the battlefield. Her body, once mighty, now lays lifeless. The air is heavy with sorrow. The Titans gather around her body. They stand there for a second in grief, but they know what they should do. Together they all lift her body, each Titan contributing their strength. The journey is long, but they move as one, determined to honor their fallen comrade. They travel from Tokyo to the icy expanse of the North Pole. There, in the vast frozen wilderness, they lay Shimo to rest. Her body, once filled with life and ice, now lies in her element, a final resting place for a Titan who fought for so much. The cold winds howled around her, but they do not disturb her peaceful form. Her death stands as a symbol of the past, the sacrifices made, the battles fought, and the legacy left behind. With one final, mournful look, the Titans leave. Godzilla, Kong, and Mothra linger for a moment before turning away, their footsteps heavy in the snow. The North Pole becomes a silent monument to the Titan who gave everything. As they disappear into the horizon, the cold wind whispers with the snow, carrying with it the memory of Shimo, the Titan who stood until the very end. The camera pulled back slowly, revealing the vast cavernous expanse of the hollow earth. The landscape is lit by an ethereal glow of bioluminescent plants and strange rock formations. The ground trembles slightly beneath this. The three Titans emerge into the massive open space. It's quiet there, save for the sound of their footsteps echoing in the cavern. Godzilla leads the way, his towering form casting over a long shadow in the cavern walls. Kong walks behind him, his chest heaving, though his posture has changed. He no longer carries the weight of defiance, but the burden of a leader. Mothra glides gently behind them, her wings fluttering softly, shimmering in the strange light of the hollow earth. They come to stop in a vast, flat area at the heart of Kong's people's land. The camera zooms out, showing the silhouettes of the Kong species, observing from the distance. Their eyes widen in both awe and reverence. In this moment, there's no need for words. The bond between the three is clear. They've been through the fires of battle, and together, they've secured peace. The echoes of their past struggle to fade into the background as they stand united. Godzilla's dorsal blades glow faintly. Kong's muscles tense. Mothra's wings hum with energy and the collective breath. And then, together, they raise their heads towards the sky and roar. Godzilla's deep guttural roar shakes the very air. Kong's roar, mighty and raw, follows with the force that rumbles through the cavern. Mothra's call rises in harmony, a metallic, resonating cry that fills the hollow earth with its ancient power. For a brief, fleeting moment, time seems to stand still as the three titans roar in unison, their voices intertwined, resonating across the vast expanse of the hollow earth. The sound echoes in every corner of the cavern, a testament to the unity and strength. The camera pulls back even further, capturing the three titans standing tall against the horizon of Kong's people. Their roars fade into the background, but their presence remains a beacon of hope. So, what'd you think? Let me know in the comments down below. If there's anything you don't agree with, feel free to share that too. I'm not gonna judge. Feel free to criticize me all you want. Fight me, I don't care. I'm standing strong on this idea. I think it's a nice mix of emotion and action. But if there's something else you want to see in the Monsterverse finale, let me know. We can talk about it, and it's just a fun little thing I wanted to make for fun, because it's fun. And obviously Destroyer is the final villain, because of course he is. It's Destroyer. And I know what you're thinking. Is he gonna animate it? No, I am not going to animate it. Why, you ask? Because I want a computer that's not fried. The amount of time, energy, and, brain power it takes is something I don't have. Especially the brain power. I am not that smart. But, yeah, anyway, cool. Alright, yeah. See you guys in the next one. GojuMan34, out.